Thank you, Trent. I know that Nicole is pulling up my presentation because I just emailed it to her. But I'm going to be talking about a fourplex that I actually partnered with Chris and AJ Shepard. I know a lot of you guys have heard those names before, but this project was a fun one, to say the least. So we will just get right into it here. It's loading. But the fourplex it's located up in Linton, and not everybody knows where Linton is. So think St. John's and then go west. So it's on the opposite side of the river of St. John's. But this is a cute little photo. There it is. Some photos. Keep going, Nicole. Some renovations. This is kind of what it looks like now. This is like the goal of each unit to look like this. You can keep going. LVT floors, new paint, all that good stuff. And one more, Nicole. Cool. So this is basically the origin story. So the origin story of the property is there was a distressed owner occupant, and a savvy investor found out her distressed status and then partnered with her in order to alleviate her troubles. And the goal was to kind of stabilize rents and then sell the property so that both the seller and the owner occupant would have somewhat of a win-win situation out of this. So the property was listed actually by myself and Trent, who just gave the market update. And the property sat for about 3 months without getting too much action. And at which point I started to consider the possibility of potentially purchasing it. And we ended up making a deal, and we put a deal together, and we closed in spring of 2021. So what was the deal? Well, the deal, we ended up purchasing it now for $775, and I put down 3.5% as an FHA loan right now. We put about $38,000 or $40,000 into it. So the cash on cash return worked out to be about 19.5%. So pretty good deal, but not without its challenges. So the tenants, some of them were delinquent on rent, of course. The property was on septic, which is always fun to deal with. Getting contractors and coordinating work with vendors is especially hard, but definitely challenging right now. And there was no washer dryer hookups at this fourplex, which a lot of renters will just rule your property out if you don't have a washer dryer, at least on site. And of course, the big bugaboo was the owner occupant herself. And they had their own issues, but they also had some credit card liens on the title, which created for some scenarios in which we needed to do some creative negotiating. And that all got worked out. So the property then, once we took control, the biggest challenge, however, was that the owner occupant had a lot of belongings. So here are some photos of what their unit looked like. And you can just kind of keep on going here. So one man's trash is another one's treasure, of course. And negotiating and having conversations surrounding these types of situations was not always fun. And you did not see the basement, which was infinitely worse than those photos. But little by little, we got it done, and we finally got her moved on to her new spot, in which she's happy, the previous investor's happy, and now I'm very happy as well. So how did we add value? Well, there are plans to add washer dryer hookups in order to have coin-operated laundry at the property, as well as, of course, to upgrade the units, stainless steel appliances, new paint, new floor when needed, update bathrooms and things of that nature. So once again, just making the property more modern and therefore more desirable. Can we go back a slide? We're also adding parking behind the property because there is an easement behind the property which allows for more parking. And we're, of course, just doing things like keeping landscape on a schedule so the property will continue to look good. And we are also adding storage units to the basement because the basement is extremely large, 14 feet in some places. So lessons learned, there were many lessons learned. The first one is to have a well-defined plan, and skipping down to make sure that you understand your plan probably won't work. So having backup plans as well. Another lesson learned is when you're dealing with owner occupants in particular, it's very important to be stern and get certain things in writing and signatures from them so they can remain accountable to themselves as well as accountable to us. One important thing or one tool that was utilized in the purchase sale agreement was an escrow holdback amount, which incentivized the owner occupant to leave so that they could retain as much of their money as possible. Having trusted third parties and even partners to bounce ideas off of is something that I highly recommend and endorse. And getting multiple bids for work that you're not going to be doing yourself, of course, is very important. So all of those things are super important. And of course, don't forget to have fun with it. But yeah, feel free to reach out. Those are my contact credentials right there if you have any further questions. But yeah, it was certainly a good deal. The numbers worked out well, but it was not without its challenges. So thanks for letting me dive into that. Does anybody have any immediate questions? No? Cool. The cash flow? By the time it's all said and done, the cash flow will be about $200 per door. So pretty solid.
All right. Thank you, Taylor.